Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video for me. Today we are back on Forza after a long time away. We're at Yas Marina, we're in Nissan Skyline. We're about to race, but before we do, we're going to stop the video right there because nothing you can see on the screen is related to racing in any single way at all. There is no other racing that goes on within the world that looks absolutely anything like this. You do not see any racing where cars are speeding off track into each other, destroying each other. And what I'm going to do in this video is I want to go over the reasons why this happens so damn much in the public office for Forza, and what I hope in the future can be done about it. Now, when we get to this part of the race, we're hoping one of two things is going to happen. One, that people's brakes work, and two, that people's brains work. But 99 times out of 100, that doesn't happen at all. And the reason why is because in the multiplayer hypers, you have a short amount of time to do a race. I call it a race in the loosest sense of the terms. You have a small window, number of laps to complete during the race. Now, if you hit somebody, there is absolutely nothing that can be done about it. Absolutely nothing. You can hit somebody, run off the road, drive away, and know that you're going to get that position, and it's not going to be reversed. You're not going to be injured in any way. And a lot of people just don't care with the fact that they hit people. Now, that in conjunction with a list of three things, which is first, the amount of skill somebody has, so that's the driver and their talent and how good they are at the game. Two, the car they're using, and three, what build they're using. You put all them variables together and you've got one hell of a clusterfuck. Now, if you don't know what a clusterfuck looks like, it looks a little bit like this. So Forza isn't the only sim racing game or racing game to have this problem. Pretty much every racing game that's out there has the same issue. Now, it's probably more prevalent in Forza because it's quite a popular game. There's lots and lots of people play it. You go in a lobby and there will be a huge amount of people, full lobbies, pretty much all the time that you go in when you race the popular classes. So you'll probably see it a lot more because having 24 people in the race into turn one with the three things I mentioned earlier will make death happen quite quickly. Now, the only game that doesn't really suffer from this problem to the huge extent that most games do is iRacing. That is purely because one, it is quite expensive. It's damn expensive to play. It's a monthly subscription you have to pay for every month to even be able to play the game. Then you have a huge cost of all the content to be able to race different cars on different tracks. Now, that works really well because it's in quite a niche market on PC. There's nothing else in the market that does that. Now, console-wise, we don't have that option at all. It's pretty much you buy a game, you go to the public lobby, cross your fingers, hope for the best. Hope you survive to the end of the race. But what about, maybe just, if the consoles had that, would that clear up the races? Now, this is what I want to look at in specifics today. So turn 10, when they make a game like any other game developer, it's a business. They're there to make money. If they don't sell units, they don't make money, they don't make a profit, they can't continue doing it. So first and foremost, it's all about making money. And what you don't want to do is release a game where you have to pay a monthly subscription. That on the console just wouldn't work. You wouldn't even get people buying it in the first place, or you get a very small minority of people buying it and then playing it. So you still want to create a game that is open to everybody to play. Now, what we've got currently is the league races, but from what I've seen and what I've experienced, it doesn't matter which league you're in, you still have the same kind of experience that you do in the public hoppers. There's still crashes. It doesn't matter if you're in the elite or pinnacle league, whatever, you still get those loads of accidents, simply because there are no repercussions for anybody that does anything. It doesn't matter if you have an accident, it doesn't matter if you run anybody off, there's no repercussions, it's forgotten about, on to the next race. And for me personally, ghost racing doesn't really fix that, because for me that's not racing. When you can drive through another car, it takes away the element of trying to pass people cleanly, and to a certain degree takes out a lot of the fun. So what I would like to see going forward with future Forzas is add a whole new element in and try and build in certain aspects or certain styles that you get in iRacing into a separate multiplayer hopper that would be available to everybody to begin with, but you would have to earn the right to be able to race faster cars. Now, I'll go into a little bit more detail now. This is where the maths might kick in, so stick with me, stay with me people. Go and grab yourself a cookie, grab yourself some coffee. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty maths, nothing too extreme though. So I perfectly understand that Turntown will not want to limit the game to people, and they want people to be able to enjoy the whole game and all the cards that are available, and I agree with that. 100% you should be able to do that. So I would suggest, or would like to see, that they still keep the hopper system as they have at the moment, which is cool. So we'll still have that along, so it's open to everyone. It's got a normal setup as it is now. It's car class-based lobbies, no restrictions. You can have any car, any track, any time, open to absolutely everybody. Now you would also be able to have your private lobbies as you've got now. So they'll be user generated. The race setup would be determined by the host. It's a little bit more organised, and generally it's cleaner racing. Now this is where it gets interesting. I would also like to see what I call a racing lobby. So essentially, when you begin, you would begin in E class, and you would have to progress through races, but the focus wouldn't be so much on winning races. It would be able to finish the race cleanly. So kind of like the system they've got in iRacing, where if you go off track, you get penalty points and you don't get so much safety rating. So maybe E class, and then you get to a certain safety rating level, and you go up to D class, and then D class, certain safety rating from that, you go to C class, and so on, all the way through the classes. So you wouldn't necessarily have to win. Now I think to do this, a big part of it would be you would need to remove all the rewards. So it would purely be about racing. So you wouldn't get any credits at the end of it, you wouldn't get any experience. Purely the fact would be that you won. That would be the achievement, right? Because that's kind of how it works in iRacing. When you win a race in iRacing, you know you've pretty well earned it, and you've earned it through racing and trying to stay clean, not hitting anybody off, and you've had some good races along the way. Not because you've rammed 14 out of 15 people off the track and you've beat them by about 3.5 minutes, right? So that's where I'm trying to go with this. So I would like to see it open to everybody. So have E class to start off with. Everybody can be in there. Now that would be a clusterfuck. That would be a total clusterfuck to begin with, right? It's the same when any new game comes out. You get loads of people jump on the bandwagon, play it for a few months, and then disappear off to other games. But you would have the core people that would focus on around. Don't worry where you finish in the race. It's worry how cleanly you finish it. Now the system we've got at the moment, it flags up when you get dirty lap, it flags up when you hit other traffic, and it flags up when you slipstream people. Now the slipstreaming option would need to be removed because that's generally racing, it's not really a thing. So maybe not have it so any of the times are linked to the leaderboards, so just exclude that from the leaderboard rival racing altogether. So every time you go off track, you could potentially have 1 penalty point. Every time you hit another car, you would have 4 penalty points, same as they do in iRacing, but that would be applied to both drivers. So if I hit you, I'd get 4 penalty points, you'd get 4 penalty points. Now I know what you're thinking, there will be trolls that come in that will just smash into everybody, give everybody penalty points, but this is where they'd have to be quite strict. So you'd have a maximum limit you could earn, as they do in iRacing. You have 17 points. If you hit 17, you get booted from the lobby and you get disqualified. You get 3 disqualifications in a week, you get banned for a week. You just can't join that hopper. You can still race in the other hoppers, the public hoppers and the private ones, but you can't actually race in the racing lobbies. And then if you come back after a week and you do the same, you get banned again. So it would very quickly remove the people that would ban it, that would cause problems and troll lobbies and try and ruin everybody's racing and give them a worse safety rating than they would particularly need. So the way that iRacing does it is it takes the total amount of turns that you complete during the course of the race and factors in the amount of incident points that you have during it. Then it gives you a certain safety rating boost depending on how many incidents you've had. If you've had none, you have a huge boost. If you had loads, you have a very small boost. So essentially everybody could potentially start off with a score of 50 in E class, and you would need to get to a safety rating of 150 before you could progress into D class. Now bearing in mind any trolls that are in there will essentially get stuck in E class. They will never get out of E class if they're just trolling. So once you get out of E class in D class, you know you're going to be racing against people that want to race cleanly and fairly. And then there are a whole host of sums behind it in how to calculate how much you get. So if you do a track like Lime Rock, which is only 7 turns, you do 10 laps, and you never have any incidents, you'd have quite a fair boost. You'd probably get, I don't know, say 20-25 point boost. If you do somewhere like Road America over 10 laps, which is 14 turns, you'd get a bigger boost without any incident points because you've done more turns. So the more corners you get round without any of an accident, your safety rating would increase. So you'd probably get to D class quite quickly. And then that would open up a whole host of cars that you could use and race against with other people and progress all the way through the different classes until you get to the very end. Now I would hope that they would actually in the lobby show what your public safety rating is and maybe some stats on how many races you've won, or what cars you can race, so you can quickly see in the lobby who are going to be a problem, and then decide if you want to race at all, or you can just back out and think, no, this lobby's look like it's got a lot of rammers in, so I'm just going to back out now. Now I realised I said there was loads of maths, and I was going to do loads of maths, but I decided against it because I spent a lot of time at work today on my break. He's just trying to figure out and do some number crunching to work this out, and from the figures I've got on my spreadsheet, it would work. It would work. It is possible, because the game already records, as I said, when you go off track and when you have accidents. It would take a bit of work from turn 10 to actually implement that and create that separate lobby, which is more race focused, so no rewards, no bonus cars, no huge amount of credits, nothing. It's purely about racing for racing's sake and having good races. I would hope that turn 10 would have a look at doing something like this, because as I said, iRacing is very niche on PC, and there's nothing else that really does that, and there's absolutely nothing that's on the console even remotely like that. It's all public hoppers where we all have exactly the same problems regardless of what game it is. So doing something like this from turn 10's perspective would actually add a whole new element to the game, and probably, especially with Forza being on PC as well, that potentially could open up a whole new world. So on PC it would essentially be like iRacing, just without all the charges. So if you can create a clean environment where you know you can race, and the people you're going to race against want to race, that would be a huge bonus for turn 10. That would potentially put them up against the likes of iRacing without the costs, and also on console give them a whole new audience where people are going, you know what, I'm going to play that game because I know there's an option for me to go and race against people that want to race, and I'm not just going to get trolled all day and spend all my time backwards in the wall on fire with my arms hanging off. So overall, it wouldn't be restricting anybody. They can still experience all the cars in the game, whether it be single player or multiplayer in the regular hoppers. They can still do whatever they wanted in that, but the racing hoppers would purely be racing focused, so you get limited on what cars you can use to start off with, but as you get cleaner, you can progress up and you actually race through it, and it'd be like more of a career mode as well for multiplayer, where you actually earn the right to race faster cars, and then push yourself to the limit to try and win races once you've built your skill set or your racecraft up. Which is a lot of things that people don't understand, and as I said, because there's no penalties, they don't really care about it. I don't care if they dive bomb you inside and wipe you out. They've got the position, they're happy, they're on the way, whereas you're in the wall with your arm hanging off again. And I think for turn 10 to actually go down a route like this would be kind of groundbreaking for them, and actually lead the way against all the other race sims and do something that no other race sim is doing, and maybe set the example for what everybody else should be working to. I've played Forza for a long time. I've played Forza for Forza 2, and I've always had a good relationship with Turn 10. They've always been really good with videos that I've done. They've been kind enough to give me copies of Forza 6 when it came out. They set me up with a day to go and see Horizon 2 at Playground Games, which was immense. And as a gamer and somebody who loves the Forza franchise and the Forza series, I really want to help or see this game progress forward and do new things, and keep pushing the boundaries and pushing the limits, and be the game that I know it can be. So this isn't me trolling them, this isn't me knocking Forza, this isn't me slapping them on the back and saying great job guys. This is just my perspective as a gamer on what I'd really like to see, and provide an environment for a lot of people that want to race cleanly, but currently there aren't not any options. That's what I'd like to see from Forza. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your guys' opinion, any ideas, suggestions, anything I've kind of missed. I've spent quite a lot of time today trying to work out this video and putting it together. So I hope it's up a thinking block for you, so you can have a think about yourselves and think about what you'd like to see in the game, and pop them in the comments below. It'd be great to read them all, and we can share them all with everybody else that comes in the channel and watches the video. They can read them as well and put their 2 pennies worth in, shall we say. So thanks for watching guys. As always, enjoy your gaming, enjoy whatever you're doing playing, and I'll see you all soon.